Greetings, Dr. Smith and classmates. My name is Jowanna Cameron, and this is my presentation on my interpersonal communication project. Um, Please, I'm sorry if my looking down is disturbing you. However, I am going through the PowerPoint as I am presenting it to you so that we can be on the same accord and on one page, so to speak, one slide. Um, as you change to the first slide, which is my introduction slide, I would like to introduce myself to you. I am the presenter. I'm working on my master's in human services with a concentration in marriage and family counseling. My current occupation, I'm an office manager for a mental health agency in Laurinburg, North Carolina. I am a very laid back person. I'm said to be outspoken, very easy to get along with, very sociable. However, I don't socialize a lot outside of work, church, and home. I don't go out, and I don't really. I tend not to mingle or intermingle with a lot of people, even in church settings or school settings or in settings that I'm familiar with. Um, this class has been so important to me because I have gained so much from it. It's been more than just a course to me. I've really learned and I've seen changes in how I deal with people, including my 5-year-old son, how I deal with my mate in my relationship. My relationship has absolutely flourished since being in this course. And a lot of it has to do with me just being informed and having real information on what type of person I am and looking at myself and being aware of myself and how I navigate through this journey of communication. My overarching goal, which continues on the next slide, is to basically do more self-disclosure. Very early on in the class, I was able to gain a lot from the disclosure aspect of the course. I learned that I was not disclosing a lot of information about myself, mainly because of my lack of trust. To me, finding a happy medium for this will be something that will go on probably forever. I will steadily be looking for a happy medium. I don't want to disclose too much so that when every time someone meets me, I'm telling my life story. But at the same time, I don't want to be that widowed, um, covered person that everyone, like this mysterious person that everyone is trying to figure out. Because I have a lot to offer, and telling my story and giving people little nuggets about myself is a way for me to offer that to others. And disclosure will help me better all of my relationships, letting people know how I feel, letting people know how things affect me and how my past has affected me and why my past is my past and why I'm moving forward. So that's something that I really enjoyed learning from this course. Um, being Disclosing more information about myself will help me to become a better leader. As I said, I am an office manager, so I do deal interpersonally with people a lot. So disclosure will really help me with that aspect of it as well. Um, Understanding that trust is absolutely essential in an organization. Adams, that was a journal article that I was reading about how to, basically how to disclose information about yourself in professional settings. And it all boiled down to trust. And the reason that I found that I was not disclosing information was because of my lack of trust for people. Um, and people, especially in certain situations. So I found that it was better to just keep to myself and keep my information to myself. But that hindered me, and that's something that I did learn. And also, disclosing more information will help me to enlarge my mindset about different things and going forward and making everything and every encounter a positive one. Moving on to the next slide, those my overarching goals are continued. Um, Peterson really stuck with me in his chapter, in a chapter of his book why do not we listen better? Um, he basically was saying little things that could really hinder or would cause problems in the communication process. Ritual listening, the Perry Mason syndrome, that's definitely, being a criminal justice undergrad, the Perry Mason syndrome made me laugh because I could see myself all in it. Basically questioning people in a way that would make them feel as if they are being questioned by an attorney, basically interrogating people. That is something that I have worked on, and actually before the class, I had already noticed that that may have been a problem, just in the way that I, approach things in certain ways. I particularly ask questions. The asking why questions, that's something I catch myself on daily since this class, with my son. I say, why did you do that? And his response is always, because he does not, that's kind of a trick question. So I find that I try not to ask him why as much because I know that 9 times out of 10 he doesn't even know why he did something. So that's something I definitely have taken personally and taken and put into practice even when dealing with my 5-year-old. I understand that's one that can really get sticky because I realize that, I understand can kind of, if you really don't understand, and even if you're being empathetic, it can kind of throw people off and, like, cause them to be like, oh, so did your mother die? Or whatever they're talking about. They want to know if you've been through that exact same thing. My behavior blend according to, what the, I'm sorry. My behavior blend according to Cornell was I have please excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going through the presentation while I'm presenting and it threw me out. So, yeah, so my background in behavior blend is the D and the I, from the DISC model, which means that I am and it fits me very well. I'm a very direct person. I do tend to, it's, D is dominating, directing, decisive, doing, and that's all me all day. And the I actually scored 96% in insightfulness on the queendom.com assessment. So the I for insight and influencing and inspiring and improving and all of those things, those were my behavior blends. And as we move on to the next slide, my background, I've gone through a lot, and this course has really helped me to deal with a lot of the things that I've gone through, looking at them on an interpersonal level. I've dealt with a lot of trust issues from church and school and even co-workers and office work and everything like that. And knowing those things now, I can move forward and know my biases and know my prejudices. And so that in turn can help me keep them under wraps while I'm listening and while I'm interacting with new people so that I don't carry the sins or the weight of others onto new people and new situations in my life. Um, Potential barriers for communication, there are so many. As you can see on my presentation, um, being aware of potential barriers can really help you with not perpetuating them. As you see on my slides, there are all types of barriers from communication to being able to hear someone to all types of other things. But as I'm wrapping up, we're on 9 minutes and 30 seconds, so I would like to just go over my plan of action. Disclosure is the biggest thing for my plan of action. I plan to disclose, because that is the only way that two people can really have an understanding and move forward in their communication. And as I mentioned before, my biases and things like that, but I thank God because He will be with me all the way through this journey. He's been here. I appreciate this class, and I've learned so much about communication. And the biggest thing I learned was not always wanting to be the talker, but wanting to be the listener. I hope you enjoyed.